This is another lesson from my book on thirds. The short form thirds that are widely used in rock, blues, jazz, pretty much every style. I've always felt intimidated by any interval because they don't follow the same order as a scale, because you're playing on two adjacent strings and it throws you off. So I've come up with a solution to the problem here. How to learn your thirds all over the fretboard in a very short period of time. Breaking it down into steps. So if we take a look at the C on the 3rd fret, you can see the short half step. We're going to call these steps. See the half step, that is a major third, and between the 3rd and the 5th is a minor third. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into 3 different groups. 2 are which are the same and 1 isn't. So from moving from C to C, this layout here is from my 1st to my 12th fret. And then after the 12th, obviously it starts over again on your 13th fret. Like this would be your 13th fret. So then our first set would go half step, whole step, half step. So we want to memorize these 4 patterns and then move back to the 7th fret and go whole step, half step, whole step. So now we got these 2 or 8 patterns figured out. They're pretty easy to figure out. So then we want to go to the 10th fret all the way up to the 15th fret. So this would go half step, half step up to the C. So we've gone from C to C through the whole scale following this order. So I'm going to go through it one more time. So starting on C, on your A and your D string, using this as a reference point. It goes half step, half step, drop back to your 7th, so you can figure out this pattern here. So then go whole step, half step, whole step, and then drop back to your 10th. We're breaking these down, right? So then we go from the 10th fret all the way up to the 15th. We go half step, whole step, half step. So we pretty much got that covered. Descend and or ascend and descend these patterns till you memorize them. And don't forget to use your open strings. So now we'll go to the D and the G string. So starting on the open string to the 2nd fret, it would go whole step, half step, whole step. Drop back to your 4th fret on the D and the G string. Go half step, whole step, half step. Drop back to your 9th fret. You can see it. Whole step, half step. Or I'm sorry, go back to your 10th fret. It goes whole step, or half step, sorry. Whole step, and then half step. So these steps all follow the same suit on the first ones I gave you. You just got to remember the order and work them out on each or every 2 adjacent strings all across the fretboard. And then when you get to your G and your B string, it changes a bit here. Because of the shift on the B string, it almost has like a 4th shape. We'll just take from the 5th to the 10th fret. You can see the shape. So that would be like a half step, and this would be like a whole step and a half step because of the string the B string that has a shift in it. And it follows the same order all the way up to your 22nd fret. starting from your open. Always use your open strings. On your G and your B, obviously in the key of C, there's not an open. It starts on the first fret. So then it would go half step, and then whole step, or actually whole step, half step. And then on your B and your E string, it would go half step, whole step, half step. Drop back, and then go from your third fret, whole step, half step, whole step. Drop back to your seventh, go half step, whole step, half step, all the way up to the 22nd fret. And the interesting thing with your thirds up on your higher strings, now you can take them and bend them a little bit to get a steel guitar sound, your country sound. If you bend, like these ones are really nice to bend, these types right here, you really get a steel guitar sound. And like after you learn all these, you can start adding in a third note, like say from your seventh third, you can add in like a D, add in a third note, start doing these all the way up and down the strings. You can add more color and stuff. I just find the system works really well. I learned this about 6 months ago, because I always felt intimidated by intervals, because they don't follow the same order as scales. But like I say, if you follow this order, which I've told you, go through it one more time. Starting on your C, go half, whole, half, drop back, go to your 7th fret, go whole, half, whole, and then drop back to your 10th fret, go half, whole, half, up to your 15th fret. Follow the same order on every 2 adjacent strings, and before you know it, you'll have the whole fretboard mapped out with your thirds. They're one of my favorite intervals, because you can do country bends with them, and sixes are great too. I'll give you another lesson in the future on sixes. They follow the same, pretty much the same order. A lot of fun to play with. Instead of single line soloing all the time, you can utilize these into your solo, and gives you more color. It helps you harmonize around chords and progressions. Anyways, good luck with this and have fun.